It's time to enter a world of fashion, glamour and glitz, and the greatest pop music of all time. Not to mention leg warmers and Rubik's Cubes. It's time to stand and deliver the music.
Welcome to the world of music.
It's DJ Sonic.
It was supposed to be like any normal interview, but when Boy George was subjected to a torrent of homophobic abuse, the singer was having none of it.
Kiss my blood clot! You're a bust your this off. He knocked you out, you Sorry. Call me a Shut your mouth, I'll knock you out. Oh, sorry.
George, come back. No. Well, can you go and get somebody? Tell them to get their number.
Bend over and be quiet. Wash up, come on.
Okay.
Oh, God, kill me today. Calm down. I am calm. You have to be constantly raging. Stop it dead.
Good to see you. We've never met before. I've seen you perform before. It's different.
I met you when you were in drag last time I was on the show.
Well, no, that was Joan Rivers. You thought I was made up?
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No.
Piss off.
Touch my camera, you piss
Don't
off.
touch me, piss off.
I didn't touch you. Piss off yourself, you rude
I'll
bastard.
break that camera if you go away. Did he? Get rid of it. Oh!
We're in a public place.
Yeah, don't have to be an arse about it.
He doesn't have to be an arse. He's so rude. You're a rude bastard.
It's his private space.
We're in a public place. We do what we want.
That's just totally stupid.
We're in a public place.
Just here to wind you
You're
up.
doing any harm.
Well, obviously you will.
We're in a public place.
Get away from
You
me.
keep saying that.
We are. We know
So
our
what?
rights.
So he hasn't got any rights because it's a public place.
You know his rights. We know our rights as well.
I will break it.
You break it in.
I will break
Call the
it.
You
police.
just do it to make you do that, George.
Call the police. I will.
He said himself this morning he was a pufter.
Well, I think...
It could be a gay, a queer, it could be a gay, a queer, or a fag.
Oh, thank you very much, madam. Thank you. If you can't speak, I can't learn. I'll never grow.
I'll teach you.
Heterosexuality's finest moment.
I love it. I love it.
The special fans conference at the Siebel, organised by The Sun and Terry Willisey tonight, certainly showed George to be as colourful in person as he is on stage.
I just wondered, I think you've got a really good voice. I just wondered why you have to dress up to be a girl to get attention. I mean, do you like it? Or do you think... No, or is it an image?
First of all, you're wearing a man's shirt and a man's jumper.
George, you're not actually a fan, are you, of rap or hip-hop music?
Who said that?
Because you are rather controversial. It's something new that...
But after like 3 years of seeing me, you'd think that people were a bit used to me by now, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, in a country that has Liberace, I'm hardly revolutionary, am I? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
What is it about? Is it the message, the persona,
I think he can be different, and he still has an excellent voice. I mean, he's not using the makeup to get ahead because he's real good just by himself. So he can do it, get away.
If he wore this kind of an outfit and...
He's got a fantastic voice. He's good. Without anything, he'd still be good.
Hello. What inspired you to dress the way you do? Not that question again. Well, I suppose the boredom of everyday life, you know, and I think everybody else looks dull in comparison to me, so that's the reason, really.
Everybody else looks dull in comparison to you.
I think so, yeah, don't you?
How does it feel to be driving or sitting in your house and hear your voice on the radio after all your years of trying to do it? I mean, does it feel real strange to hear yourself?
It's strange because after selling 10 million albums and numerous amounts of singles, people still ask you why you look this way, blah, blah, blah. That's the most important issue to me. You know, we sell loads of records And people are still asking us, is it a gimmick? You know, why do you do it? You know, psychoanalyzing me.
The biggest hit in my high school experience was a penny a kiss, a penny a hug. I'm going to save my pennies in a big brown jug. That's about as complicated as we got. You feel this. Are you responsible for this message, George?
Well, I wrote the words to the song, you know, and they are important to me. I think a lot of musicians just write bland pop songs. I mean, for all the sort of music that we make, people still say that we write bubblegum music, but I think a lot of people don't actually listen to the words. And a lot of people have misinterpreted this song, you know, because I say people are stupid. And what people don't realise is that I'm a person too. And I'm not separating myself from the rest of the human race. I'm saying we're all stupid. Everybody thinks they're the most important person in the world. When you're driving in your car, we all think everyone should get out of their way, you know. When we're going home from work, we all think we should get home first. And that's what the song really is about, that we can't live with each other on a basic level.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know if he's going to come out with his own line of clothing.
Makeup, yes. Clothing, no.
No, not at the moment, because I know somebody tried that in England and it failed, and because all the people working in the factory got paid like £18 a week, and she got the blame for all that, so I don't want to get involved in that sort of stuff, you know.
Since your music does have so many messages, what type of advice would you like to offer the young American teenagers concerning sex and drugs?
Well, one thing that we don't do is take drugs, okay? And Reverend Falwell came out against us at most of their concerts in this part of the country with people saying that Boy George is evil. Basically, we preach love. If you listen to our songs, we sing about love. We don't have sexism in our videos. We don't have violence. In fact, I think our videos are one of the very few that don't have girls in bikinis and sex. We have a different kind of message. And I think that the message is quite relevant. I think that we do tell people to sort of be considerate. I mean, we're a very sensitive band. I think that we make our message quite clear.
What do you understand Reverend Falwell's misgiving to be?
Well, Reverend Falwell says that, you know, you can make kids homosexual by playing in pop records, which is rubbish. And I say to Reverend Falwell, you have a low opinion of American parents if you think that I can indoctrinate their children. We are like entertainers. We come here to entertain. We bring happiness. You know, people enjoy the concerts. And there's nothing immoral about it at all. You know, there's nothing immoral about enjoying yourself. Let's get one thing straight right now.
You know, I think that, you know, underneath I'm quite gentle, but I've got a kind of very aggressive side. And I suppose growing up in a quite violent household, you know, it brought out that kind of violent side in me, you know, where I wasn't prepared to just walk along the street and be laughed at. If someone laughed at me, then I would want to fight them.
When you say violent household, how was that?
You know, just my dad was very violent. You know, my dad was always hitting us and always being aggressive. I mean, we lived in terror of his voice, you know. You know, you never really knew what kind of mood he would be in when he'd come home, and it really affected everything. There was certain things that, you know, certain kind of telltale signs that told me that my mum wasn't in a good mood. If I came home from school and there was still milk on the doorstep, that normally spelt gloom. And you could open the house and you could just feel the sadness in the house, you know.
I probably didn't treat Diane all that well. I didn't come in and beat her up or anything, but I was probably rude to her and things like that without realising what I was doing. And because, you know, this follows on from generation to generation. You know, my answer in life to everything was, if somebody confronted me, get them out of the way, bust their jaw, kick the hell out of them, or else they kick the hell out of me. That was the way I was brought up. And sometimes I would sort of need to sort of scold the children, and you couldn't actually smack George because he used to go into absolute fear, right? And I used to draw back.
I always used to say to my dad, you know, if you're a man, I don't want to be one. I mean, that's what I say to him all the time. That if you're what a man is, then I definitely don't ever want to be like that. Because I used to get a slap.
What I think concerns Reverend Falwell and others is a trend toward what they perceive to be androgyny or
What about Halloween? What about Halloween? People dress up on Halloween, is that androgynous? You know, what do people do on Halloween? They become transvestites? Yeah, you know, I mean, it's illogical. We have to separate one day a year so people can enjoy themselves. That's what I don't see the point of. You know, on Halloween it's okay. We allot one day a year, we say, okay, you can go wild. Go to the costumers, buy yourself a dress, put on drag, go out and enjoy yourself, right? Why can't we do it every day? Why not? You know, anyone got a reason?
Are you Wait a minute. Would you kindly stand, please? You were applauding that word.
Yeah, people can do anything they want to do.
What happened to a man's man? What happened to John Wayne and Clint Eastwood? And those are the heroes.
John Wayne is a personal hero of mine. I think he's great.
And you like him?
I like his music. I mean, if he wants to dress that way, I wouldn't dress that way. It's not my taste. But if he wants to, he can go ahead and do it.
You look great anyway.
You can dress any way you want. All right.
He was quite a loner. He'd play on his own for hours. He was artistic even as a child. You know, he liked singing, dance, and performing. Always a performer, George. And as I say, he had a very soft side to his nature compared to, say, Richard, Kevin. They're more boisterous.
At what point did you realise that he was gay?
Well, he actually told me himself here in this kitchen, in that kitchen out there. We were having an argument. I came home from work and he dyed his hair blonde. When I walked into the back room, I saw this bright, really white blonde head sticking out the chair, and I thought, who the hell's that? And I went round, it was George, and I went mad. I went, what have you done? So I said, right, I want to tell you something. You know, I'm different from everyone else. Like, I'm different from Gerald and David. I said, what do you mean? So he said, well, I fancy men. But I didn't understand anything about gays at all then. I had no concept at all of gay people.
I think part of the problem is for a lot of parents, it distracts from what you can't even get to what your message is because you look so weird. You know, that,
well, listen. What about all the women in the audience that wear men's jackets? 20 years ago, they would have been called transvestites.
But
They're
I'm
all dressed as men.
People
wearing men's
who are
suits.
stuck in a little box and want their kids to be the way they are and everything.
I don't agree. I think that
Don't miss her point, George. She's on your side. She thinks
I know what you're saying, but I don't agree. I think that people, the press and the media, like to think that the public are more stupid than they are. You know, and they write these articles. I mean, most of the adverse publicity comes from the press. People don't walk up to me in the street and say, why do you look like that? People come up and say, can I have your autograph? People are nice to me. I don't get any hassle from the public. It's the press that write the adverse stuff about me.
I'm just saying I think it's a little bit harder to get to your point and your message for a lot of people because a lot of people can't get beyond
What I don't understand is that, you know, you've had, like, Alice Cooper, you've had Liberace, you've got Dolly Parton. I mean, rock and roll has always had, like, a weird image, you know. So what's so new about it now? It's 1984. I don't see what's so different about it, really.
Do you ever go out with the makeup?
Yeah, I have done, and it made the front page of the newspaper. You know, I was on the National Enquirer. Where George goes bland.
Is it necessary for entertainers to have a message? Couldn't we just divide it? Can you entertain without a message?
Do you want them to?
No. I don't think Elvis Presley had a message in my day.
You don't think you're not entertained by entertainers with a message?
I don't think it's necessary. I think I would be more
Elvis Presley did have a message. Elvis Presley had a message. Elvis Presley reintroduced a teenager. There were no teenagers in America before Elvis Presley. He brought young people back into fashion, you know. Elvis Presley had a definite message. He was rebellious. And the Beatles had a message. Before the Beatles, everybody wore cloth caps. And then people started growing their hair. That's the message. If people weren't rebellious, America would never have been discovered in the first place. So, you know, listen to that.
But I'm curious to know what... Stand up a second. Why does that bother you? Why shouldn't in the land of the free?
No.
If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it'll fall of its own.
Yes, and that's fine. It's just that when the other lady said that she felt that the message wasn't coming clear, there were things to distract it, I thought to myself, well, why not? Why not just either be an entertainer?
But why
and if Elvis Presley did away with us, then I was a lost teenager. I felt I was okay before he let everyone know I was alive.
Well, Elvis Presley did change music drastically. Also, why don't they use people with spots to sell spot cream, you know? Do you know what I mean? I mean, why does the media, you know, use images and trickery to sell things to us? If you accept that, why can't you accept me?
Would you ever be interested in making a movie like Prince did?
Not really.
No?
I mean, maybe, but not, you know, it's not a major thing for me.
I have a question. I have a question and a comment. I was wondering why the hair changed. I mean, I like it and everything. It looks really neat. I was just wondering why you did it. And second of all, on Halloween, me and my friend Kathy dressed up as you on Halloween. I was wondering if I could just give this to you, because we dressed up like Cabbage Patch Kid too. Her name is Erica, and
This is the Cabbage Patch doll.
Yeah.
You want him to autograph it?
I want him to autograph a picture I have of you, and I want you to keep that as like a remembrance of.
This is for George.
She's put you on the spot, I tell you.
This is for you. That's for you. Okay, hang on just a moment. All right. I promise you'll have an opportunity to do that. Yes, your question is? Your hair. Yes, why the hair change?
No particular reason. You know, it just felt like it.
Do you cover other artists' material?
We did one song called Melting Pot, which is a 60s sort of multiracial hymn, and that's the only thing we've ever done. Pardon?
Yes. Did you want to? Yes.
Are you really good friends with Joan Rivers? Because she talks about you all the time.
Yeah. Joan Rivers is one of the few entertainers who actually is as she is in real life, as she is on stage.
You think entertainers are two-faced, do you?
Oh, most of them are really boring when you meet them. It's like, you know, I loved you as a child, you know. It's like, you know. Most of it's like, can I have your autograph? Yeah, $50, please, you know.
So you see a lot of hypocrisy, do you, especially here? I assume you believe here in this country it's especially true.
Well, the star system in America is much stronger than in England, you know. I mean, stars are stars. You know, Michael Jackson does not go shopping. Do you know what I mean? You know, I mean, if you asked him to go and buy 10 Woodbines, he'd have a problem. You know, and in England, you know, I go out on the street and walk about. I can't here. It's different here, you know.
I wonder, yeah, and is that good, or what do you think?
Well, people say, like, what the hell's he doing in the supermarket all the day? You know, they just want to know why you're walking.
Yeah, you're supposed to be royalty. Yeah. We have celebrity-itis. I think you're quite right.
It's funny, but it's different here. Like, if you do a chat show, like if you do Carson or something, if you leave in tears, if you're on a TV show with Joan Rivers and you leave in tears, that's supposed to be, like, good, you know, that's a good show.
In tears?
Well, when boygeorge went on, like, and she left crying, you know, she was really upset, everybody thinks that's a great talk. And I don't understand that. You know, like, people are starstruck here, but they sort of want to also knock people. Like, a lot of the talk people want to be clever with you, you know. Mm-hmm. So they put you on the spot and ask you funny questions, you know.
Yes. I felt a certain defensiveness from you when I first met you today.
So he was trying to steal my lipstick.
You're ready for us, aren't you?
You know, everyone was competition.